Hello, I'm the Doctor. Welcome to DoctorGeek. Today, we're reviewing Doctor Who Series 10, Episode 9, The Empress of Mars. This episode starts out with the Doctor, Bill, and Nardole barging in unannounced to NASA Mission Control. This scene is quite funny, except for the fact that there's really no explanation given for why the Doctor has arrived at NASA, right as they're downloading a new image from their Valkyrie spacecraft around Mars. As the image downloads, the Doctor does some quick talking and flashes the psychic paper, and ultimately manages to stall enough time to see that the image is the phrase, "God Save the Queen," written out in rocks on the Martian surface. Clearly, people have already been to the Red Planet. We next find ourselves racing towards Mars in the TARDIS, circa 1881, which is when the TARDIS detected the message was made. We get some great banter between Bill and the Doctor here, where she brings up various movies like The Thing and Terminator, encouraging the Doctor to watch them because, quote, "There's killer robots, you'd like it." The Doctor says he'll add it to his list. This is possibly a reference to the fact that Peter Capaldi's favorite monster is the original Cybermen from Mondas, which will be appearing in the two-part finale in 2 weeks. The team lands on Mars and starts to explore the red landscape. We get a look at the new spacesuits, and I really like the new design. Apparently, the new suits are a result of the old spacesuits from Episode 5, Oxygen, being too hot and heavy for the actors to wear comfortably. While exploring, Bill slips through a small hole in the ground and finds herself on a lower level. The Doctor instructs Nardole to fetch some rope from the TARDIS, but as he enters, the TARDIS takes off all by itself, leaving the Doctor and Bill stranded. No matter what Nardole does, he cannot return to Mars. Bill soon runs into one of the humans on the planet in a very cool steampunk spacesuit. Whoever designed the suits in this episode did a fantastic job, very Jules Verne in its execution. On the level above, the Doctor hears something coming down the corridor and is soon face to face with an ice warrior, wearing some very classic Who-looking armor that looks just fantastic. Even the way he moves is so reminiscent of the classic era. As the Doctor pleads for the ice warrior to talk to him, another human enters and prepares to fire, but as the Doctor tells him not to harm the ice warrior, it becomes clear that he actually means to shoot the Doctor. The humans and the ice warriors are working together. With the Doctor and Bill back together at the humans' base, we learn that the leader of these troops, Colonel Godzaker, was stationed in South Africa when he found the ice warrior's ship. Inside, the warrior, who he named Friday, was in hibernation. The Colonel woke him up and was asked to help him repair the ship and bring him home, which they did. But they crashed the ship on their return and are now trying their best to fix it. In return, Friday supplied the men with a mining tool made from a powerful laser off of his ice warrior ship called the Gargantua. Friday has promised the men gold and gemstones, but so far they found nothing. As the men mine, Friday waits on the Colonel and his captain, Ketchlove, like a servant. When the Doctor asks Friday why he's helping the humans, he replies that he's the last of his race, old, tired, and spent. Finally, the Gargantua breaks through a wall into a hidden chamber, with the centerpiece a golden sarcophagus adorned with gems. The men are ecstatic, but the Doctor warns that it may be the entrance to an ice warrior hive. Captain Ketchlove wants the Doctor and his friends thrown out of the room so that they can examine the tomb, but the Colonel says no one is to touch the sarcophagus until the next morning. That night, Jackdaw, one of the guards on duty to watch the tomb, decides to drug his sergeant and attempts to steal some treasure with the help of his friend Vinci. Jackdaw has learned that the ship has finished its repairs, and he plans on leaving tonight after he takes some treasure for himself. As Jackdaw pulls a gem off of the sarcophagus, the Empress wakes from her hibernation and kills Jackdaw on the spot. When Vinci goes in to look for Jackdaw, he finds the Empress has awoken. Friday informs the Empress Araxa that they have been asleep for over 5,000 years, and their world is dead. Araxa is angry that the men have used Friday as a servant, but he assures her that it was his choice in order to gain the men's help. The doctor tries to make Araxa see that in order for her species to survive, she must work with the humans to heal her world. At this moment, one of the men, in his fear, gets scared and shoots at Araxa. She replies to the doctor that she will show the men mercy. She will kill them quickly. After a quick firefight, many men have died. The humans trap the ice warriors behind a rubble wall using the gargantua and prepare to fire it again once the warriors break through. At this point, Ketchlove pulls a mutiny on the colonel, revealing to the rest of the men that the colonel was actually formally hung as a deserter, but the execution was botched and he survived. He still has the mark around his neck to show for it. This revelation brings the men to Ketchlove's side after he declares that he is more than a match for a bunch of upright crocodiles, and the colonel is thrown in the brig along with the doctor and Bill. In the brig, the colonel admits that he was in fact a deserter who fled his post out of fear. He asks the doctor and Bill who they really are, and Bill replies that they are sort of police, to which the doctor replies, "Speak for yourself." The colonel laughs at this, finding the idea of a woman on the police force as absolutely ridiculous. Bill does not react kindly. Meanwhile, back in the TARDIS, Nardole still can't return to Mars, so, in an act of desperation, he asks Missy for help. She replies that she would be happy to tell him how to fix the TARDIS, but it would be much easier to show him. Back on Mars, Araxa has been busy reviving more and more Ice Warriors, and now has enough awake to lead an attack. The Ice Warriors tunnel underneath the humans and come up behind them, making their strategy to use the laser as a weapon completely useless. Inside the brig, the Colonel, Bill, and the Doctor begin to worry as an Ice Warrior tunnels into their cell, but they're surprised to find that it is in fact Friday. He does not agree with Araxa's decision to kill the humans because he understands that Mars is a dead world and they cannot afford to turn away allies. With Friday's help, they escape from the brig, but the Colonel shows that he has not learned from his past and he runs away in fear. The Doctor asks Bill for a distraction and runs off towards the Gargantua. Bill begins to talk to Araxa, trying to appeal to her, woman to woman, and convince her to join forces with the humans, but Araxa refuses. Suddenly, the Doctor threatens to fire the Gargantua straight at the North Pole of Mars, plunging the entire planet into an eternal winter. Like Frozen, the Doctor says. It's a movie, referencing the banter from earlier in the episode. Just as it seems like the Doctor and Araxa have come to an agreement, Ketchlove comes up behind the Empress and holds a knife to her throat, deciding to use her as a shield to escape to the ship and use her knowledge to get it off the planet. However, before he can make his escape, the Colonel returns to save the day, shooting Ketchlove dead and saving the Empress. The Colonel tells the Empress that he gives her his life, as repentance for his desertion long ago. He willingly sacrifices his life to save his men. Araxa says it would be her pleasure to ensure that he dies with honor in service of those he swore to protect, but not today. Araxa asks Colonel Godsaker to pledge himself to her and her people and help them thrive in a new world. He accepts willingly. After the rest of the men have gone back to the ship, the Doctor helps the Ice Warriors send a message to the Galactic Federation and tells them that they should receive an answer soon. Araxa tells him that though Mars is dead, the Ice Warriors will live on. As Bill asks the Doctor if the Ice Warriors will make it, the Doctor tells her that they may have just entered the Martian Golden Age. Suddenly, the Galactic Federation makes contact and tells the Ice Warriors they are sending aid immediately. The speaker introduces itself as Alpha Centauri, an old, well-known character from Classic Who, and welcomes the Ice Warriors to the universe. The Doctor and Bill say their goodbyes to Godsaker as he prepares to begin his work with the Ice Warriors. His only regret is that no one from Earth will know what they did there, but the Doctor assures him that one day someone will notice the message that he left on the Martian surface. The God Save the Queen from the pre-credit sequence has just been built and is now visible from the surface of the planet. Finally, Nardole returns with the TARDIS, but with a surprise. Missy has come along for the ride, and the Doctor is not pleased. "This can't happen," he says. "This is not what we agreed to." The Doctor seems very agitated, and the episode ends with us wondering what will happen between Missy and the Doctor. So, overall, I really enjoyed this episode. The costumes were absolutely fantastic, from the new futuristic spacesuits the TARDIS team got to wear, to the steampunk Victorian spacesuits that the soldiers were using, where every single suit had its own unique design. Even Bill's hairstyle in this episode was really cool, and a nice change from the majority of the season. Also, the return of the Ice Warriors for the first time since Series 7 was done very well. These monsters have only appeared in the show 5 times before, yet they're so iconic to Doctor Who that it seems like they've always been an enemy of the Doctor's. In fact, writer Mark Gatiss used the story as a way to add some lore to the Ice Warriors' history, introducing the Empress and giving their weapons a horrifying upgrade by making it bend people into a box of flesh. That was very striking and something that we've never seen before in Doctor Who. In fact, it reminded me a lot of the Master's old shrinking weapon that he used to murder people with regularity in Classic Who. Lastly, as a huge fan of Classic Who, I really loved the introduction of Alpha Centauri as the leader of the Galactic Federation. Alpha Centauri is a hermaphroditic hexapod that was first introduced in The Curse of Peladon, another Ice Warrior story. Bringing Alpha Centauri back with this story retroactively sets up the future appearances of the character that we've already seen, as she works with the Ice Warriors in the Galactic Federation. As an added bonus, the voice actor of Alpha Centauri was the original voice from all those years ago, so that was another great Easter egg to add for the fans. As for what I didn't like, it really came down to some of the smaller writing choices that were made. For instance, the TARDIS randomly taking off with no explanation just to get Nardole out of the story came across as a cheap plot device to make the writing easier. As soon as Nardole enters the TARDIS, the levers start to move all by themselves, and we're supposed to believe that it's just the TARDIS acting up. It's quite frankly lazy writing, and it's done purely to get Nardole out of the story. Similarly, the story starts off with the TARDIS team in mission control of NASA during what appears to be a normal day of image review, and yet we get no explanation as to what brought them there in the first place, no context. It just seems like they're going around important places trying to annoy people for no reason. So I really would have liked a bit more of a reason for that scene. Also, the resolution to the TARDIS problem is that Nardole has to turn to letting Missy out of the vault, something that he has been adamantly against doing, almost obsessively, since the beginning of the series. I find it very hard to believe that Nardole would give in so easily, especially when he had a time machine and could have taken as long as he wanted to get the TARDIS working again. Overall, I thought the episode was a very nice adventure. After the 3-parter with the monks ended on a bit of a dud, it was nice to get back to an old-fashioned base under siege story with a twist. The story is well acted by the cast, especially Anthony Kalf as Colonel Godsaker, and Michelle Gomez shines as Missy, as always, in the brief scenes that we got with her. The addition of the Ice Warriors and the attention to detail on their costumes really gave the story a classic Who feel that we don't get a lot in New Who, and Alpha Centauri's return was just icing on the cake. I give it 7 Ice Warriors out of 10. So, that was my review of Series 10, Episode 9. I'll be going back to review the first 8 episodes of Series 10, so be sure to like and subscribe for more reviews and Doctor Who news every week. And thank you for being my companion on this journey today. I'm the Doctor. Bye for now.